Conservative new media viewers, J-Lin fans around the world, what's up? It's me, PFA, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. We're here to discuss the Brooklyn Nets loss tonight to the New York Knicks, 116-111 in Brooklyn, New York City, New York. What happened in this game was the Nets were actually leading this game by about 10 to 13 points in the second quarter, and believe somewhat also into the third quarter. And then the Knicks were able to exploit Brooklyn's kind of lesser second unit, their bench unit, and just the talent took over for the Knicks there. Then later on in the game, in the fourth quarter, the starters came back in for the Nets, including JLin. They were mostly playing against the Knicks' second unit at that point, but the team came all the way back, got the lead down to 2-3 points, and they actually had a chance at the end of the game to tie the game with the three-pointer with about 15 seconds left. Unfortunately, the Nets turned the ball over. The Knicks went down and got a dunk, and that was the final margin of the game, that 5 points. The Knicks had 6 players in double-figure scoring, led by Carmelo Anthony with 21 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. And the Nets were led by JLin. His stats for the night were 24 points, 0 rebounds, 10 assists. Jeremy played 30 minutes, shot 6 of 9 from the field, including 2 of 3 from three-point range, 10 of 13 free throw attempts, 2 steals, no block shots, 8 turnovers, 1 personal foul, and Jeremy's plus minus for the game was a +6. Look, actually, let me say this before I analyze the game. There's 2 things that happened before this game, and let me catch you up on that, and then I'll break down this game. Well, I will say this. I'm not thrilled with the outcome of this game and the way parts of it looked, but I'm actually more positive than a lot of people are going to be after this game and after the kind of struggling preseason. And I'll tell you why in a second. Jeremy was on a radio show in New York City a couple of days ago, Boomer and Carlton, I believe the show is. And Carlton, I think, asked him, hey, was anybody on the Knicks like treating you bad or something like that because of your race? And Carlton, whoever the host was, specifically named J.R. Smith. And Jeremy was like, look, I don't know. J.R. never talked to me about anything. I don't know anything. And he just kind of moved on from it. But this became a little bit of a story. J.R. Smith went to his Twitter and was like, look, I'm not racist at all. I lifted Jeremy up when other people were putting him down, something like this. Is that true? I don't know. Do I think that J.R. Smith was one of the JLin fan club members when they were both in New York? No. Do I think that J.R. Smith's racist? I have no idea. The good thing I like is that Jeremy just let it go. I think if Jeremy is taking the high road in these matters because everything's coming up from when he was in New York before, because now he's back in New York again and everybody wants to hash it over and over, etc. It doesn't matter what happened now. Right now, Jeremy's got a fresh start. He's doing his thing. JR's doing his thing. It doesn't matter. And I don't think Jeremy cares in the least. The other thing, the second and final thing I want to mention before we talk about the game was I came across a report kind of a breakdown on a Sports Illustrated site, or it's actually their sub-site called The Crossover, about basketball. And what they did was they had a scout, an NBA scout, go over every single team. Okay? They mentioned the Knicks. We don't know who this scout is. It's some anonymous scout that was discussing the Nets. And they said, basically they said, Jeremy is a good player. He's a good all-around player, but he's not a great point guard, and that's because of his ball handling issues. That came up some tonight. We'll talk about that. But that's kind of the scouting view of Jeremy. However, the scout also said, look, Jeremy is going to make them competitive. He's going to raise them up more than they otherwise would be. That's what we saw tonight. I'll talk more about that as well. Also said Brooklyn's a very bad team. We saw some of that tonight. And the scout finally said Brook Lopez is by far the best player on the Brooklyn Nets. Okay? So that's kind of what it's. I don't have a link for it right now, but if you go to, just look up Sports Illustrated scouting report or scouts, I don't know, NBA scout Nets or something, and you'll find it. It's again, the articles are done by conference. So there's a scout talking about the entire Eastern Conference, and there's a scout talking about the entire Western Conference. So it shouldn't be too hard to find. Also, I'm sure it's not the same scout for all the teams. They're probably using multiple scouts. But if you want to read that, you can read it. That's pretty much the summary as far as Jeremy goes with regards to what the scout had to say. Okay, now let's talk about the game and about the overview and the outlook for the Nets just going forward. Number one, this is Jeremy Lin's team. And there have been reports that Brook Lopez might get traded during the season. And if you watch tonight's game, you can understand how that would make sense. This team is using a motion offense. They're kind of setting a lot of picks. It's kind of almost like a free-flowing thing rather than a set scheme. Okay, you do this, and every single time this man sets a pick here and you go out here. It's not like that. Guys, it's kind of like a read and react type of a deal. It's a little more free-flowing. The NBA is going more and more away from traditional centers like Brook Lopez. This is one of the reasons why you see Brook Lopez shooting so many three-point shots right now, because he kind of knows he has to in order to kind of stay viable in the modern NBA. Unfortunately, Brook's not hitting a lot of his three-point shots. The reason why the Nets would get rid of him, if they choose to do that, is because he doesn't fit with what the team is doing. In other words, his talent is not maximized in this team with this offensive system. And that's why I think there's a very good chance that Brook could go. And what you would do then, if you do trade him, is you get several good, athletic, talented players back. Maybe you get a couple guards, or you get a forward and a guard, guys that can shore up the second unit, plus maybe another starter or two. Brook is a highly regarded commodity. He's very good, but he's never going to put up big numbers in this type of a system. And that's why I say this is Jeremy Lin's team. This system with this personnel means that Jeremy's going to be the guy probably just about every single night. It's not that Brook can't have big nights or that he won't. He will have them, I'm sure. But this is the type of offense that Jeremy Lin can do well in. And it's surprising because you think, well, it's heavy pick and rolls and stuff, and it really hasn't been so far. They really haven't done that yet. But it's still because of the movement and the quickness and the fluidity of the system, Jeremy can thrive in it, and that's what he did tonight. Okay? So as I also said, and I've repeated, so do not be surprised if Brook Lopez is mentioned in a lot of trade rumors, and if he actually gets dealt this year. That would not surprise me in the least. In fact, I think there's a very good chance that it's going to happen. Now, the second unit looked terrible tonight. Not that the first unit has an overabundance of talent, but the second unit, what they looked like tonight was they couldn't compete athletically with the Knicks. They were too slow, not enough explosiveness. The game was going back and forth up the court, and the Knicks quite simply had better athletes. And so Brandon Jennings and Kyle O'Quinn and Baker and a couple of the other guys, they were just doing whatever they wanted. When Jeremy Lin came out of this game in the third quarter, which is when the Knicks took control, the Knicks immediately went on a 13-0 run. And then when Jeremy Lin came back in the game in the fourth quarter, the Nets went on an 8-0 run. So I'm telling you, so much of what the Nets are going to do and be able to do is going to come down to Jeremy. Yes, Jeremy's a very good player, but it's like I said, it's everything. It's Jeremy's a good player. There's not a tremendous amount of other talent, and the system really isn't made for Brook Lopez. So it's all of those things combining where a tremendous amount of burden is going to be on Jeremy this season. And if you're a Jeremy Lin fan, you have to hope don't play him too many minutes, which Atkinson did not do tonight, and I don't think he will do, which is good. Jeremy was tired near the end of this game, and that's because he was carrying the team. That will wear you out. They need to get away from that, but again, it might not happen this year, or it might not happen until they possibly trade Brook. This is what the personnel is, and a lot of the burden will fall on Jeremy. However, these are the good things. First, Jeremy looks fantastic. I'll talk about his turnovers in a second, but everything else looks terrific. Terrific. The Coach Atkinson knows what he wants. He wants to play fast. He wants to shoot a lot of three-point shots. And he wants to use a deep rotation, a number of guys off the bench, to keep the guys on the court fresh. That's what he did tonight. Even though it didn't work with the second unit particularly well, it will pay off down the line. Yeah, you can only make guys as talented as they can be. You can't get more out of them than what they have. So maybe they perfect the system, but the second unit just isn't talented enough to pull it off. But this was the first game, really, of the entire preseason where everybody played their role and played it for the approximately the amount of minutes that they're going to play the regular season. Jeremy played 30 minutes. Other guys played their normal minutes. This is almost like the first time that they've done this. And so you expect it's not going to be perfect. These guys don't know this system. They don't know each other. The Knicks are motivated to beat them because it's the New York rivalry, not to mention the Jeremy Lin factor for the Knicks. And the Knicks do have some new guys themselves, but they have more continuity than the Nets do. So when you actually step back and look at this, it's not as bad as you think it was. You're going to see a lot of turnovers. And another reason why Brooklyn's going to look worse than they might look is because they're playing fast. You have to make quick decisions. That's going to mean more turnovers, more mistakes, until the guys get to know each other better. Okay? But I like this. This is the correct way for a team like this to play. This is the way for the Nets to have the best chance to win with the personnel that they have. Playing this way. So even though it was ugly for stretches, they never gave up. And that deep rotation can pay off, and you can sneak in there at the end and compete and fight for a win, which even though the Nets had a lot of down moments tonight, they did that at the end of this game. And that's what they're going to be looking for this year. And as guys continue to play at this pace and this speed, they'll get more used to it. They'll get more used to each other, and it will improve. So I'm glad that Coach Atkinson is playing this way. This is what he should do, and it will work better as time goes on. Jeremy Lin hit 2 for 3 3-pointers tonight. That makes him 10 of 20 for the preseason, which is 50%. Shot looks good. It's not perfect, but it looks good, and he looks comfortable with it. And I'll tell you, the 3-pointer that he missed he looked exhausted when he shot. This was late in the fourth quarter when he was like on a 10-0 run for the Nets by himself. He's just tired. So you're going to miss some shots when you're tired, but clearly he has improved his shooting. And he said the other day that he's much more comfortable with the shot now than he was in preseason last year, and it shows. Definitely the shot looks better. And as we've talked about, hopefully it can be more long-lasting, that this improvements will stick around as we continue into the season. I have hope. I have some good hope because, like I said, he's already changed his form. I think there's a good chance he's going to be shooting a lot better as we move forward into the future, and that is huge for him. It's huge. And one reason why it's so big, it opens up his driving game. It's much easier then for him to go to the basket because teams have to play him closer up. In fact, they were doing that tonight. I got the Knicks feed of the game. Clyde Frazier, the analyst for the Knicks and the Hall of Famer, was saying the Knicks are defending Jeremy too close. They're up too close to him. When you defend somebody up close, you do it because you're afraid of their jump shot. For somebody like Jeremy, if you play him close, he's going to drive by you because of his quickness. And that's one of the reasons why he was able to do that tonight. The other reason why it's important and good for Jeremy Lin to have his shot coming around now is because he does want to work on his ball handling more. Just what the scouts said. And I would kind of say it as ball handling / decision making. Yes, the 8 turnovers is a lot. And you don't want a 10 assist to 8 turnover ratio. That's not what you're looking for. But I will say this. Jeremy had a minimum of 4 unconverted assist opportunities in this game. What I used to call blown assists, but that's not a fair characterization. I started watching this game from midway through the second quarter on, and he had minimum 4 of those. So you have the unconverted assist opportunities, you have playing at a faster pace, and you have playing with new teammates. I'm going to give Jeremy mostly a pass on the turnovers tonight. If it wasn't for him, this would not have been a close game in any regard. The score would have been way more wide. He played super hard, and he had a tremendous amount of defensive attention put on him. In the time to come, if his shot is good this year and it sticks, the form, then next summer he can work more on the ball handling. Jeremy played shooting guard in college, and he came into the NBA and he kind of played both point guard and shooting guard. His ball handling is good or pretty good for a shooting guard. It's not great for a point guard, which is exactly what that scout said, and I agree with it. This isn't to put Jeremy down. It's to look at him as almost like building the perfect machine. Your machine can cut paper really good, but it can't throw the paper away that well. So you're going to make it throw away the paper better. With Jeremy, he needed to work on his shooting, which he has done. And one of the things that he can improve on in the future is handling the ball better and making slightly better decisions. These aren't big things. What I'm talking about is when Jeremy brings the ball up and the guard pressures him, the defending point guard, and you see Jeremy get a little, like he almost seems nervous because he doesn't want to get the ball stripped. Or he's running, he's like going through the steps of the offense, and you'll see Jeremy throw the ball to the guy he's passing to too quickly, and it gets turned over. These are slight little things. This is like 10 to 15% stuff. This isn't like he's got to revamp his entire thing. Jeremy has improved his ball handling since he came into the NBA tremendously. Remember, he couldn't go left. He couldn't go left for years. That was the knock on him. Obviously, he can go left now. Just wants to be able to tighten it up a couple more levels. And it's going to take time. You can't do everything at once. If this is where Jeremy's ball handling is for this year, and it probably is, and his shooting stays like this, great. He can work on ball handling the entirety of next summer then, if that's what it is. It just takes time to cumulatively build your game up. Jeremy has built his game up so much since he came into the league. It's what Kevin McHale was saying this summer. He's improved tremendously, and he has. Just like I said, we're comparing Jeremy to the top basketball players in the entire world. You see guys like Kyrie Irving. You see guys like Steph Curry and their ball handling abilities. If you're a Jeremy fan, you say, I want him to be able to do that. Well, like I said, give it time. Let him improve one thing, then he can work on another thing, then he can work on another thing. I say it in almost every video now. Steve Nash, not Steve Nash until he was 30 years old. Jeremy's 28. Give him time. He's improving. And I just thought he played a fantastic game tonight. As I said, I can't criticize him for the turnovers. Jeremy, with his pace, with the speed that he played at in this game, he really dominated the game. In other words, he influenced how the game was played. He made the Knicks play fast, faster than what they wanted to play. And so Jeremy just, he just had an unbelievable influence on this game besides the points and the assist. That's why the Knicks went on the super run once he went out, and they were all happy, and they're puffing their chest and high fives and doing little dances because, hey, man, now we can actually play the way we want to play now that Jeremy's out of the game. When he's in the game, might be playing too fast. We're playing jittery. But that's what Jeremy does. That's what he is. He wants to play at speed. And in time, as he can work a little bit more on the ball handling / decision making, he'll play even better at that speed. And like I said, I mean, the way he dominated the game tonight. So if he can kind of catch up his skill set to his natural athletic ability in terms of speed and quickness, I mean, there's not many people going to be able to compete with that because they're just not used to playing at that tempo. So, like I said, I give him total. I'm not going to worry about the turnovers. He did tremendously tonight. He'll be on himself about the turnovers. He knows it. It's just certain habits and certain limitations that he has right now with this game in terms of how he does that little thing and the little kind of moments of where he's playing too quick and so forth. Okay? So coming back, the Nets, this is the way they want to play. Jeremy is the leader of the team. Nothing against Brook. Again, it has to do with style of play and the way that they're doing things. And it probably is going to take a year for them to get more talent unless they trade Brook. And even that might not solve everything within this year. So you will see a lot of this. I told you Gravis was getting torched when he played defense tonight. On that 13-0 run, the Knicks just attacked him over and over and over and over on every single play. So Brandon Jennings kept going at him, kept going at him, kept going at him, kept going at him. The Nets, the second unit in particular, they must keep their confidence up. And they must hang in there. Do what you can do. Okay, if you can't run and jump with the guy, then shoot better than he does. Pass better than he does. As long as this team keeps its confidence, I think they will be able to compete as they competed tonight. Finally, I trust Jeremy. I trust Coach Atkinson. I trust GM Sean Marks. We said Sean Marks went out and did whatever he could try to do this summer. He got a lot of good pieces, including Jeremy. He tried to get Alan Crabb. He tried to get Tyler Johnson. It just didn't work out. But I really like this foundation. I like the coach. Obviously, I like Jeremy. I like the GM. And I like just the culture of this team has changed so much. I mean, this team was loser central. They couldn't do anything. Their GM was made fun of. Does Prokhorov, the owner, know what he's doing? Now, it's all changing. You can feel the change, even though the team's not that good yet. One of the things that they've done, and we've talked about in this preseason before, is they've overhauled the training staff. They have an incredibly advanced, holistic training staff now that works with the players. This is how you do this then. Manage your body, rest a lot, X, Y, Z. And players believe in it, and I'm sure it's going to pay off in the time to come. So, yes, the team needs more talent. They can still maximize what they have. I'm really, honestly, I'm actually encouraged by tonight more than I'm discouraged. Even though it was a kind of a waking up moment to see the second unit when they're struggling, but it's going to be better. I think it will be better than this. And I think if the Nets play at this pace and use 12 men, like I think they used tonight, they will wear teams out. They will wear teams out. And so they can get some wins just by doing that. And they will get more used to playing at pace. They will get more used to playing with each other. And like I said, what I liked tonight was they never gave up. They hung in. They had a chance to tie it or even win it at the end of the game. And that's all you can hope for. The Knicks, if the Knicks are maximum healthy, they should win 50 games or more. Now, they didn't have Derrick Rose tonight, which is a big loss, but they have talent on that team. Carmelo, Porzingis, Noah, if he's healthy, they got some talent on that team. So, and they played hard tonight. They didn't always play smart, but the Knicks played hard tonight. So I would tell you, take it in stride. Don't worry about the losing record for the preseason. Again, it doesn't matter. Yes, it's probably going to be tough this year, but focus on the positives. And certainly, if you're a Jeremy Lin fan, you need to appreciate what he's doing and where he's gotten to. He was the man in this game in the fourth quarter. Sure, Porzingis and Carmelo might not have been out there much or at all, but Jeremy took over this game. And he's so much more ready to take over completely, with the only caveat being continue to work on ball handling and turnovers. But, just minimize your exposure to negative outcomes like turnovers. Other than that, he played out of his mind. 24 points and 10 assists with many more assist opportunities. So I'm actually quite pleased. I'm pretty content, even though I wish the Nets' second unit was better than what it is. But give it time. This is year one of the rebuild. It's going to take some time. Okay, that is it for now. Let's talk about the next game, and the next game will be the first game of the regular season, and it will take place next Wednesday, October 26th. It will be in Boston, Massachusetts against the Celtics. It will take place 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and I believe it will be carried on the Yes Network and also on NBA League Pass, as long as you don't live in a Boston or New York City market. That's it. Look, I'm excited. I'm really excited for Jeremy and how he's playing, and I'm just eager to see how this season is going to unfold for him and for the team. I've become invested in this team now, and it's just fun because Jeremy's a leader. He's pretty much the leader on the team with Brooke. Like I said, it's going to be more of Jeremy's team. This is his deal, and he gets to start from the ground level on this rebuild and really make his mark and carry things and help these guys become a unit. And Jeremy's really, really good at that. Again, he's good at taking guys that aren't great and making them better and making a team out of those guys that might not be that good individually. So, and he's in New York City. He's where he wants to be. So it's just I'm really excited for this year, even if the team doesn't win a lot of games. It's all about progress. For Jeremy, it's all about what he can do individually. how he's improving and how he's able to be a leader. And I'm giddy. I can't wait. I can't wait. And I'm just going to look at it from that perspective rather than, they lost again. They're only going to win 20 games. It doesn't matters, but it doesn't matter. This is the first step. And Jeremy's right there at the opening ceremonies to be part of this as it builds into something real. And I think it can do that. So take care. Hope everybody's having a great night or great day wherever you are around the world when you watch this video. We will talk to you again soon, probably. Again, I mean, I'm just watching the games now. I read stuff when I can. I don't watch a ton. I will tell you this, that somebody from the Washington Post, Tim Bontemps, I believe is his name, says that he believes JLin will be an all-star this year. And I think what he actually said was that he believes JLin will be an all-star alternate, which means other point guards are picked ahead of Jeremy, but they can't play because of injuries or other commitments. And so then you have to pick another person. And what I believe he's saying is that the person, that the alternate will be JLin. Because then you go to, okay, well, who's the next most qualified guy if these two guys aren't going to play? That's great. I mean, I don't think that's... Jeremy's not going to play for that. But if it happens, that would be fantastic. So that's it. That's all I have to say for now. Again, unless something big happens, I don't anticipate any videos between now and the next game, but we'll see what happens. And I'm just doing what I can. But looking forward to next week, and we hope to see you there.